Guys, it is famouslastkill, otherwise known as Mark. I'm coming to you with actually a small trended video here. In the vein of everyone else's 10 to 15 games that define you or define you as a player of video games, which is my favorite thing in the world because that will soon be my profession in a few years. Um, and I hope to make games as good as these. It would be awesome. So I'm going to go with actually a list of 15 cartridge to disc formatted games. So, first up, we can always count on, start with Super Mario Brothers on the NES. Yes, unlike many of the kids in my day, I actually grew up with a NES and not a SNES. Sad, yes, that I didn't have a SNES, but this is the way to go. This is the real test of a gamer's prowess. Anyway, I would say this defines me as because this is like the first platforming game a lot of us, 20 and older have played. Like, this is the defining platformer everyone's played. Everyone still talks about, still makes games about. I mean, you can't not put this on the list. I can't not put this on the list. And yes, this is actually the one that came with my with the original NES, which was my dad's, which was passed to me. I still have my NES. It's kind of on the fritz now. I'll have to see how to fix it, but yeah, this is it, man. This is first platformer I ever played. Yeah, it's great. Second one, I know everyone in some capacity will want to say like Zelda would be, kind of up on the list. And yeah, I agree, but not the Zelda everyone says. Actually, I love the oft-hated, yet sometimes oft-loved, Adventure of Link, which is Zelda 2, which is an RPG version of Zelda, which is still one of the hardest Zelda games to play. Yeah, this was like my first encounter with RPGs. Wow. Yeah, wow. Um I have a lot of great memories. I never got past the first boss. Yeah, I never got past it, but I would play for hours and hours and hours and I mean, I was a little kid, but I didn't understand, but I thought it was fun cuz I was like, "Hey, it's Zelda. Awesome." So, yeah, first platformer, first RPG, come on. This is awesome, and this needs more love. This is a great game. Like, I probably love this more than the first one. Blasphemer, I know, right? Um, but yeah, this is my first RPG. This is great. And I encourage everyone to either get a ROM or get an NES or one of those new NES machines that play NES games and SNES games and maybe Sega Genesis games. I mean, they go for $30. How could you go wrong? And you get to play your old games if you have NES, SNES, and Genesis games. But yeah, I'd say that's pretty awesome. Great memories. Also, this game started my love for this character. It is still my favorite character. This is still my favorite version of the series. Megaman 2, the hard as shit edition Megaman. This is one of the best don't know how to classify it besides like platforming, side-scrolling, like shooter. This is, I mean, not that The Adventure of Link was, or Zelda 2 was not a side-scroller, but you know, this is one of the games I only beat one boss on when I was a kid, and I thought that was a major accomplishment because now that I look back on it, even as a little kid, I mean, Flashman is a bitch, but as a kid, like, I couldn't comprehend. I was like, hey, I beat one, yeah! And then Airman raped my shit. Bubbleman 2. I should not actually admit that, but yeah, like, to this day, I love Megaman. Like, every game, like, there are a couple games that I don't like. I mean, don't like the Legends series, and I really did not, even though I have a copy of it, I didn't care for Mega Man and Bass. I like the character of Bass and Mega Man, but game? No. But yes. Yes. This started my love for Mega Man, and this is probably one of the first series I've gotten into through you know, cartridge-based gaming. Otherwise, like, I wouldn't really say Zelda would be too much of anything, like, series-wise, because I didn't care about collecting series like this. Any game I can get my hand on now that's Mega Man worthy, I get. Anyway, so yeah, there we go with the first bit of cartridge gaming. We'll move on to the handheld cartridges. You know what this is Game Boy. Okay, so I played the series a lot, but I never owned one game until like 2003. Yeah, but you know what? It was glorious when I got it. And I raped this game so many times. Like, this is one of the only ones that I don't have an important save file on. That's how much I played it. And it's Pokemon Sapphire version. You can see that. Yeah. So, that was my first owning a Pokemon game. I thought it was great. I played it to the ends of the earth, you could say. Yeah, not too much more to say about that, but it was my first entry into the Pokemon series, like, of the games that I actually own. And then this one's another Pokemon game, but this is Fire Red version, which is the remake of Red version, which is spectacular. This is how you do a remake, or like re-envisioning. You could call it both. Rework envisioning. Yeah, let's go with that. But yeah, this is basically Red version, but touched up for the Game Boy Advance. Spectacular. It's bright, colorful. I mean, it has an expanded Pokédex because we have at least 3 gens at this time. And I thought it was great. It was like my first encounter with a remake that I genuinely enjoyed. So there. Yeah, Fire Red version. You should play it. Or Leaf Green, whatever you have. Fun fact, actually, they have Leaf Green version, but over in Japan they had Pokemon Green version, which had Ivysaur on the cover. That was never ported here. We only got Red, Blue, and Pikachu Yellow. So, yeah. I mean, still got good games, right? Anyway, okay, so this is the beginning of the disc-based games. this is probably one of the only kart racing games that I've really fallen in love with, and that I will keep on playing until the day I die. That is Crash Team Racing on PlayStation. I played the shit out of this. Like, this next to Crash 3, spectacular. I just like the wacky, zany characters, like the different power-ups and explosions and bombs and all the crap that you could launch at each other. It was great. Not to mention, like, the racing, like the kart racing was pretty solid. Like, I would say it's more solid than Mario Kart, which is kind of scary, but awesome at the same time because I love the Crash series a lot. So, yeah, this is like my favorite kart game ever. Like, and it was my first venture into kart racing too. So, yeah, Crash Team Racing. Should get it. It's great. Especially with PS3, now that you can play like PS1 games, even though I'd like them to kind of try and fix the problem with the PS2, you know, running at the same time as the PS3 disc runners. And that's why they don't have the big ones anymore, because you can't run PS2 and PS3 and make them backwards compatible, because they had two, like, basically a PS2 and PS3 disk drives next to each other. And what happened to the big ones, like most of the big ones, is they ran at the same time, even if there wasn't anything in the PS2 one, or there wasn't anything in the PS3 part of the system. They would like run and burn each other out. So that's why they kind of took that out. But PS1 games, fine for some reason. Anyway, this is another Megaman. Actually, this is my first entry into the X series. This is Megaman X6. This game, actually, I really, really liked. I've only gotten halfway through this, but this was the biggest achievement because I had never gotten farther, like I said, past Flashman, which is one boss. I made it past like 5 or 6 bosses on this. Like, it irritates me to no end that I can't finish, like, I haven't finished it. It doesn't mean I can't, but, I mean, especially with my PS3, but I just have never, like, gone back to it, because I haven't, like, had the urge to play it. And you know what? I'm actually getting excited for it, so I may just play it within the next week here, after my, like, 5th, 6th run through of Mass Effect 3, because I love the new endings. But I'll explain that in a future video. Anyway, not to get sidetracked. But yeah, first Mega Man game I made headway into pretty far. Next one is like one of my first PlayStation games, which is Ape Escape, which used the DualShock system, or what we call as, you know, the joystick version of the PlayStation controllers, to like a very effective degree. Slash one of the first controllers to ever, or one of the first games to use the function on the controller right, and quite effectively, and make controls tighter for future games. But yeah, man, I love this game. Like, back in the day, the music and everything, it was great. It was one of those games that you could just, like, I mean, I hate casual gaming, but this is like casual gaming to the extreme. This is so fun. Like, I mean, and the ridiculous worlds that you go back to. Like, you travel back in time to catch monkeys. Smart ass signal hat wearing monkeys. How much more zany can you get? And fun can you get? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. But, yeah, Ape Escape. It was probably one of the first games that I played with the DualShock system that really worked, and that I had enjoyed. Anyway, Ape Escape. And I know a lot of people say that Final Fantasy VII is their first RPG. Like I said, my first RPG, or venturing with the RPG realm, was the Adventure Link Zelda 2. But the first game that I really got super far into, and the first hardcore RPG that I got into that was more than, 2 discs, like massive on the PS1, was not 7, like I said. It was something made by a lot of the creators of 7, actually. It took them 3 years to create this, and this was near the end of the life of the PS1, at the beginning of the PS2 heyday era. And it is Legend of Dragoon. I cannot praise this game enough. Just, it's magnificent. Like, the cutscenes are later PS2, like, early PS3 almost esque quality. At least PS2 like esque cutscenes. They were beautiful. Like, they were probably like Advent Children, just like a step below it. Like, this game was awesome. And this had an addition system, which is when you would go and attack, unlike Final Fantasy VII, where you just hit and there's your attack, you would hit, but there would be a square, and there would be a larger square that would come in as you're getting closer to your target, and you hit the X button just right, and you do like an additional move, and then it keeps building on from there. It goes from, one additional hit to like 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it was insane. And the more you did, the more damage you did. And actually, it was very innovative. But, yeah, I've got to say, like, I didn't play 7 until later. This was my first foray into a heavy RPG. I haven't finished it. I've gotten through 3 discs. I've always gotten stuck on one boss because he raises and lowers your levels at his comfort and convenience, which is pretty dick move. I was even playing this game with another buddy of mine, and we were just like trading off, and we got raped so many times. We just kind of put this down, but like, this is probably the best RPG I have ever played. That's right, best RPG up until a later series, but for now, this was like the best one that I've ever played. In fact, when I get into game design hardcore, and have like a subsidiary company or work for another company, I would like to do an update of this. Like, I would like to do like a Fire Red version of Legend of Dragoon, or even do like a sequel. Like, get a team together and do a sequel. Like, this would be great to have another game of. It's sad that not a lot of people really remember it or know it, but yeah, one of the best RPGs in my book. That's it for the PS1 stuff. Wow, we're already like halfway through, guys. The next set is my PS2 games, which I got into it like 2 years into the lifespan of the PS2. So I was just kind of like grabbing random games in between. Anyway, literally the first game ever got, and I have the whole series, and I've played it to no end. It's the first series that I've played multiple times. Ratchet and Clank. And in fact, like, this is like, I think I've only beat this once. All the other titles, I've beaten like 7 to 8 times each in my sleep. Like, they are so good, so entertaining. Like, the humor's great, the game mechanics are great. There's nothing more I can say than this is a perfectly crafted system from, or series of games from Insomniac, which is a great company, by the way. I adore their games. But, yeah, this is like the first series that I played through several times. It's ridiculous how much fun and enjoyment I get out of the humor and the gameplay. Like, so cool. You just blow up everything. Good times. Okay, this next one is the only movie game that I could ever consider to be anywhere near a normal, like, awesome game, and it is Spider-Man 2. And actually, I have watched behind the scenes several times for the game. They put so much work, like, back when Activision was, like, they were getting to the end of their, like, good gaming days. Like, no, they're not such a great company, but, or they don't make really great games, but this is an example of, like, just hard work. Like, they got all the voice actors to come back for the game, of course, but it sounds like they really enjoyed doing it, which is, I think, really great. They even took the swinging mechanics and, like, actual Spider-Man, like, fighting, swinging, game or storytelling really well. Like, this is the only movie game that gets my pass of gaming approval. Otherwise, all other movie games can kick it to the curb. But yeah, this is like the only movie game and the first one that I've ever played that I've thoroughly enjoyed and have played several times through. But yeah, I can't say anything really much more about it. It's great. And here's one that I didn't get. This one was near a launch title and was out of Sony's, actually, their main group of designers in-house, which you don't see a lot of. And I know you're going to see the price tag on this because I only got this like a year and a half ago, first year of college. Oh, and I enjoyed it. Was Dark Cloud. It's one of the only launch titles that I have that I could really say it stands the test of time, where it's actually really, really short, but the gameplay mechanics are great. I mean, it has some of the first, like, I would almost venture to guess, like, QuickTime events on the PS2. It also has, like, a recapturing and setting of houses and landmarks and whatever system, because your world is like herded by a big gigantic genie and basically takes everything away. But at the last moment, I forget who does it in the game, but it's this guy that, like, captures everything in orbs. And so you're supposed to go forward and basically retrieve these orbs with the houses, which they call Georama, which is, you know, getting these capsules and putting them in the right places, the most effective, which was kind of cool because you could set stuff down, and then you could talk to the people that lived in the house and ask them where they want their house or what would be preferable. And depending on how you did it, if you did it right, like, you would get a whole bunch of bonuses. It's great. But yeah, this is the only launch title that I have that I would give a pass to for like Sony in-house gaming. Like, this was a masterpiece. I haven't played number 2, but I heard it's really good. Not as good as the first one, but like pretty good. But yeah, like, I can't say any much more about this. I haven't had it as long as some of these other games. And this game, actually, people will go, for shame, Mark. But this game is the first of the Final Fantasy games that I've ever owned. I currently own 3 of them, which is not a lot. But this is the only one that I own. And it's not the one you're thinking of. I own the Collector's Edition, which is nice. And it's the only Collector's Edition I have of Final Fantasy XII. It was the first one that I've ever owned, and it's the first Collector's Edition, and only Collector's Edition of a game that I own. And I actually love this a little bit more than 7. I know a lot of people will hit me and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because 7's the best. I know. I fucking cried during Aerith shit too. But, you know what? This is probably the most mature story out of all Final Fantasy games. Like, the political intrigue in here is so good. Like, man, I was waiting for this game to come out, and I wasn't even expecting the parental units to even like get me this game, let alone like mess up and actually get me the Collector's Edition. A happy accident, you would say. But yeah, this is the most played game I've ever done too. I actually played this like 168, almost 169 hours. Haha, 69 giggity giggity. But yeah, I played this for 169 hours. It's a lot of time, but I enjoyed every hour, every minute, every second of it. It was a great game, and should be looked at as one of the better pinnacle Final Fantasy games. So yeah, first Final Fantasy game, first Collector's Edition, and longest running game time I've ever put on a game. Man, it's a trifecta of awesome. Oh, and here we come to the last 2. I mean, I've mentioned the other one before. I haven't mentioned this one. Generally, I don't like shooters. I really detest shooters, especially Call of Duty. Call of Booty. We shall not speak its name ever on this show again. But I am talking about Bulletstorm. I mean, I guess this is the other Collector's Edition that I just picked, or got as a gift for Christmas from my buddy. Anyway, this game is like my first shooter, like my first shooter that I've ever owned. Crazy. And I've been gaming since birth, basically. I was birthed with a controller in hand. But no, this is the first shooter I've ever owned that I've really loved. Just because of the gameplay mechanic, like, you're not only shooting like uber special charge shots. No, you're actually using like a leash to like pull people in and do like crazy zany like kills of these mutated beings and like splicers, if you remember from Batman Beyond. Anyone? But this is great. Like using the leash to pull people in and then kicking them away or like shooting them straight in the face, like quite delightful. This game is like it's great because of its gameplay mechanics. The narrative is not that adult, but you need to know going in it's supposed to be like all potty humor. It's supposed to be like an updated Duke Nukem with Steve Bloom, the voice of Spike Spiegel, doing the main character's voice. Yeah, like the mechanics are so great in this, and it's actually one of the first games that I've really looked at it as innovative in the last couple of years. Which is kind of scary, and it's really sad that this is one of the only truly innovative games I would say in the last 3-4 years to come out. I'm not much of a handheld gamer, and I guess a lot of stuff's going on with that, like the 3DS, which I think is ridiculous, and 3D is kind of played out. But I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, this is first shooter. Love it for the mechanics. It's a great game. I've played through this like 4 or 5 times already. It gets better every time I play it. This goes out to Wally P. Tallylicker. And if you play this game, you'll know my references. Anyway, we come upon the last game, sadly, and it's been like almost 35 minutes. Holy crap. But here we come upon the last game, which is a series I just recently got into like a year and 3 months, maybe a year and a half ago, because of one of my buddies. And I'll actually pair it with it because I've just been playing it. The Mass Effect series, which endings fanboys that like hate the endings, go fuck off right now. I thought the ending to 3 and the trilogy in general was brilliant. So what? Like, there may be answers, but they filled most of the major plot holes. Shut up. I think it's still a great series. And it was a great end of the series. But anyway, yes, Mass Effect. It's really amazing because they managed to combine a shooter, an RPG, and I would almost call it like an action adventure platformer RPG shooter. So that's like really 4 genres of games. Like, had a baby and Mass Effect was it, and then had like 2 siblings after that, or they had triplets. But yeah, this is like one of the only series where I can absolutely say that the science in this, even though made up, is awesome, and you really feel for the characters. You feel like you're the Commander Shepard. Bang. But yeah, you really feel like you're the character, and I enjoyed that. I have never, ever felt that for a character. And every decision you make, every death you encounter within your group of your party, your group of comrades, it's heart-wrenching, especially for Mass Effect 3. But yeah, that is the only game that I can really say I felt like I was there and I lost some of my best friends. Yeah, 7 may, make you feel for Aerith, but it's a third person feel. This is like a first person, like, I just friggin' lost people. Like, it's saddening, but yeah, I have to say this is probably one of the best series I've ever played, and everyone else should pick it up. Although you're supposed to play it on Microsoft system, which I don't want to plug that because I'm more of a PlayStation guy. Microsoft, you should release this on PS3 and stop being freaking stingy. 'Cause I want #1. I don't want shit made up for me. I want to import #1 data. Anyway, so that's been my games that define me. The 15 that define me. I really hope you enjoyed this. It's been a freaking long video. I hope you agree on some of these. I hope you disagree on some of these. Just remember, it's my opinion, and you have your opinion. We can agree to disagree, or we can agree to agree, or whatevs. Anyway, this has been famouslastkill / Marc, whoever the hell you wanna call it. Stay classy, gamers.